I fucking love when a film comes together in a single great scene, so I can go on YouTube and search years after watching it and get a good cry in. I can show a couple of these moments I ripped off YouTube. Some of you will understand and are receptive to that feeling. That feeling that you're supposed to experience during these emotional moments, and you realize you're not impervious to this particular movie with these particular characters and their emotions. I figured it would be nice to start a series where I go through my personal favorite ones and give them context.
How are you doing this, Vincent? How have you done any of this? We have to go back. It's too late for that. We're close to the other side.
I remember watching this at my friend's house and we were having a great time. And suddenly we had to go somewhere. So we hopped in the backseat of his parents' car and they drove us, and we decided to watch the rest on his iPad. While on the road, the windows were down. I had half an earphone in one ear. But fuck me, I was so focused on the movie that in my memory, all I can recall is that goddamn scene with Ethan Hawke and Lauren Dean trying to once again do the water race thing. I'm getting way ahead of myself, but it's really good to get this scene some context. So the movie takes place pretty far in the future, so far that it's actually possible to have a child and be able to tell the chances of it having a heart attack, or having ADD, or literally knowing its death. A good moment is when the doctor says, hey, this kid is gonna die in his 30s, and the father adjusts his name quickly.
The name for the certificate? Anton?
No, Vincent Anton.
You know, showing that he has no hope for this kid. Like, don't give him the good name. His brother will get the good name. We get little previews of his life, but the main takeaway is that he's fucked. He's going to be treated terribly his whole life. The protagonist even goes so far as to say that there isn't even racism or classism. It all boils down to genetics.
No longer determined by social status or the color of your skin.
Welcome to Gattaca, gentlemen.
No. We now have discrimination down to a science.
So as kids, Vincent and Anton would meet to race in this water thing on some coast. And Vincent would get washed every time. Because obviously one brother has a shitty heart and every part of his body is inferior. Well, one time, not only does Vincent win, but he has to save the life of his brother. Afterward, Vincent thinks,
It was the one moment in our lives that my brother was not as strong as he believed, and I was not as weak. It was the moment that made everything else possible.
so we know Vincent is capable, but the point is that he's capable despite the fact that most people in the movie, given the opportunity, would not assume that he was. So the rest of the movie is about Vincent trying to become an astronaut, make a lover, and escape from a detective that is on his trail, who might, be his brother. I'm not doing the movie justice, but the great emotional gut punch happens later. I'm skipping out on a huge chunk of the movie. The great scenes with Uma Thurman and Jude Law's character, who is actually the person Vincent pretends to be that allows him for the opportunity to prove himself. Because although it is illegal to impersonate someone, if you're clever enough and hide the hair and DNA, surely no one would notice. And finally the time comes. It's revealed that Vincent's brother is the person that's been doing the investigation. And after a very dramatic speech, Anton has no choice but to accept Vincent's invitation to race once again. Perhaps Anton has lived these past 30 years pondering how his brother had bested him. I love how excited they both are. Vincent with an air of confidence someone like him should not have, and that he never could have had as a teenager. And likewise, Anton, convinced it was some trick he must have missed last time. Maybe he faked it, or had help. All the things you would casually wonder to yourself as you grow older, decades later. The things we tell ourselves, the further from what was once the present, to make us understand the things that elude us to this very day. And what happens? Can I play the whole clip? Would I get copyrighted? I'm gonna try, because it's so emotional. Anton attempts to stay afloat, worried for his safety. They're too far gone off the coast. But Vincent has been here before, and has become too familiar with this position, not just in the water, but in his entire life. And he was destined to be either on the winning side of this exchange, or drowning under its currents. The way Vincent laughs, water and darkness hiding what could be tears. He's known his brother has always wondered how it happened. Anton's face not only conveys fears of the perils of not being able to swim back to safety, but he wants to know how. He takes a second to ask finally, even with the threat of death. Anton needs to know how Vincent is capable of doing this. What's funny is that there was no craziness to it. There are no smoke and mirrors. He just wanted it so bad, he was gonna die for it. That's all it ever was.
Have you done any of this? We have to go back. It's too late for that. We're close to the other side. What other side? You want to drown us both? You want to know how I did it? This is how I did it, Anton. I never saved anything for the swim back.